Hi again. Welcome back to our read alouds. It's Tuesday, and it was nice to see the kindergartners today during my class meeting, and I look forward to seeing the rest of you this week if you haven't already passed by. I wanted to go back to a book that we started a couple weeks ago just to show you how different they can be. A couple weeks back, or maybe about a week and a half ago, we read Can You Survive the Desert? And the thing I really love about these You Choose books is that you can read them 4, 5, 6 times and never experience the same result. Okay, it takes you on different paths, which gives you a chance to compare what happened. It gives you a chance to compare your decisions and to see things through different angles or vantage points. So I'm going to read you guys Can You Survive the Desert again, but instead of going to the Sonoran Desert, which we did last time, we're going to take a ride or take a trip to the Sahara Desert. So here we go. You're half asleep as you gaze out the window of the airplane. Below you lies miles after mile of sand dunes and rocky desert floor. You're one of just 4 passengers on a small airplane. It's taking you north toward Cairo, Egypt. There, you'll board a jet taking you back home. You've spent 2 months teaching English to students in small African villages, but now your trip is over and you're eager to return to the comforts of home. Just as you drift off to sleep, a violent shaking awakens you. The lights in the plane's cabin flicker and then die. The plane is dropping rapidly. Something is wrong. Behind you, a woman screams. The dull roar of the engines falls silent. With a chill, you realize the plane is going down. You try to take deep breaths. Others in the cabin are panicking. Some are trying to get out of their seats. You check that your seatbelt is secure, and then you grab the backpack that is stuffed under the seat. You remember nothing about the impact. You lose consciousness as soon as the plane hits the ground. Sometime later, you open your eyes. You're groggy and your forehead hurts. A warm, dry wind blows against your face, but you're alive. And that's where the good news ends. The plane is ripped in 2 pieces. You unbuckle and check for other survivors. You don't see any. And now you are alone in the Sahara Desert. The plane was small and privately owned, and you're not sure if the pilot even filed a flight plan. It's unlikely that anyone even knows you're out here. Okay, so we have 2 choices. One would be to stay with the wreckage, where the other one is now to gather some supplies and search for a safer place. Okay, so I say we will gather some supplies up. So let's see how I do with that. In what's left of the cockpit, you find 2 bottles of water and 2 bags of potato chips. You stuff them in your backpack, and then you head out toward a stand of rocky hills in the distance. It's late afternoon, and the sun is brutally hot. You dig your baseball cap and t-shirt out of your backpack. You wrap the shirt around your face. Breathing through the cloth will help your body save some moisture. After just 30 minutes, you are drenched in sweat. Moving over the desert sand and rock is hard work. You drink from one of the water bottles, because you know if you don't, you'll become dehydrated quickly. Finally, you reach the steep, rocky hills. They look difficult to climb. You could keep walking along them, looking for an easier route, but you're eager to climb as high as you can. You hope to see some sign of people. Okay, so now it leads us to a choice of searching for a safer climbing spot, or do you just start climbing there? And I think we're going to try for the safer spot, because remember, the whole idea is to survive, and we'll just see if I'm making good decisions or not. You need to get to high ground, but you're just not willing to risk a fall that could take your life. You keep walking along the ridge. Half an hour later, you find a much better spot for climbing, one with a gentler slope and sturdier rocks. Carefully, you scale the rock. You move slowly, taking your time. You examine every handhold and foothold. Snakes and scorpions often make their homes under rocks, and you don't want to encounter them. By the time you reach the top, the sun is starting to set. You gather some desert brush and build a small fire. You'll sleep here tonight, just hoping you don't share your bed with an unwelcome critter. After dark, you notice glowing lights in the sky to your north. That has to be a city. At sunrise, you'll start off in that direction. As soon as the sky lightens, you head off toward the lights. You've got 1 bottle of water left. Walking in the early morning is wise, since the daytime heat will take your body of energy and moisture. You remember to breathe through your nose. Your body will lose less moisture that way. Early on, you make good progress. The ground here is mostly rocky, covered by dry brush. You see a few signs of animal life: beetles, spiders, scorpions. You're hungry, but you're not hungry enough to try to eat any of those. Around noon, you spot what looks like a rough road. It's the first sign of civilization that you've seen. Excitedly, you pick up your pace and you begin to follow the road, but the sun is getting stronger by the minute and the heat is intense. You're worried about heat stroke. You don't want your body to shut down, and that's what will happen if you get too hot. On one side of the road is a ridge with a large rock overhang. The shade there would offer welcome rest, but can you afford to stop? Okay, so now we have two choices: to continue on the road or to take some shelter in the shade until the evening. I think this is a tough one. I think maybe we'll try to get a little bit of shade. Continuing to walk in this heat could be deadly. You carefully inspect the area. Finding no dangerous wildlife, you plop onto the ground and you enjoy the precious shade. You finish the last of your water. After several hours, the temperature begins to dip. The sun is lower in the sky and not nearly as strong. Now's a good time to start moving again. You walk for an hour or two and you hear noises ahead. As you come over a small hill, you see people. It's a group of nomads, complete with tents and camels. You hurry toward them. "Help!" you shout, falling to your knees. The surprised people yell something back, but you can't understand each other. You grasp your throat and say, "Water, please." A small boy rushes up with a container of water. As you gulp it, you use gestures to explain that you were part of a plane crash. You mime using a phone, and they nod in understanding. It seems they're promising to take you to a phone. You've made it. You kept your wits about you, and that has allowed you to escape the deadly Sahara Desert. So that's our book for today. Okay, we made some good decisions, and I will see you guys back for our next read aloud on Wednesday. Bye, again.